And it goes a little something like
Good morning, Belton High School.
I'm Tanner Strive.
And I'm Savannah Truitt.
And you're watching
Cutlass TV
News. HOSA is a club for those interested in health science. Here's more on the organization by Avery Hobson, Jesse Larson, Andrew Clark, and Joshua Fife.
Ms. Capronis, advisor of HOSA, sits down and tells us what HOSA is and what HOSA does.
HOSA is a club for students who are interested in healthcare, so anyone who's interested in the healthcare field can join HOSA. We started HOSA here in Belton for students who are interested in that field. We have a lot of students interested in that because of our PLTW biomedical science classes, and all of those students needed a place where they could meet other students also interested in healthcare, and they could have fun with competitions and social events and service projects where they could all participate and learn more about healthcare. Our first year we only had 6 members. Our second year we had about 30 members, and this year we had close to 90 students sign up, but I think we've only had about 50 show up to all of the meetings. So we're definitely growing, and we're hoping to continue growing and to continue to add more students as more people become aware of it.
And president of HOSA, Haley Griffin, chats with us about her role as president and what she has accomplished.
So our first year in HOSA was last year, and I wanted to become president then because I had talked to Ms. Alexander my freshman year about starting up HOSA, and it was something I was really passionate about. And so I wanted to make sure that all the ideas I had were able to at least be talked about and start to be put into play, even if they didn't happen until later on in life. But I just really wanted to make sure it started running when we started it, and it wasn't something that just kind of started and then died down, but something that kept going on. And so I was president again this year, just so we kind of would have a better structure, and so that what we made progress on last year, it wasn't dropped, and the progress continued on this year. I started HOSA, I thought I wanted to be like just a gastroenterologist, but then I got into the more research part of it, and one of my competitions was actually clinical laboratory research, and so it really opened the doors for that and broadened my perspective on all the different health careers. I oversee all the events that we want to do and organize our meetings, and I make sure what we're doing is benefiting all of our members and not just our officers. So I want to make sure we have member involvement and not just the officers planning everything.
Allie Berry, and also vice president of HOSA, sits down and tells us what her role is as vice president.
As vice president, mostly I do run the meetings when Haley, who is the president, isn't there. We do it as a club too, so we divide into different categories of what we're going to do, and I run our competitions. Competing, last year I only competed one time because we only had one competition, but it was pretty fun. I was able to meet a lot of people while I was at the competition, which was in Rolla.
For Avery Hobson, Josh Fife, and Jessica Larson, I'm Andrew Clark for Cutlass TV News.
One of the many clubs at Belton High School is the Environmental Awareness Group. Here's Samantha LaValle, Robert Thomas, Destiny Quarles, and Michael Landreth with the story.
The Environmental Awareness Group is a group of students at Belton doing their part for the environment. Advisor Ms. McNair brings insight into what the EAG really is.
EAG is about students working together to build awareness about environmental issues at BHS and in our community. Last year we did some cleanup at the creek by the Belton Community Center, and we worked to get the recycling program started. We also have meetings where we'll talk about the issues and then make plans from there to separate onto other student groups. So this year we plan to hopefully have a group do a garden at the school, as well as a group start composting with our waste in the cafeteria. If you would like to join EAG, you can come by my room 413 anytime and sign up, and we'll get you set up on the Remind group text.
Many people considered the EAG as a way to make a local difference, including the club's very own Katrina Barker.
we brought back like recycling to the school, so instead of just dumping it all in the trash, it's going to go to recycling now. And we're hoping that we'll be able to start like a garden soon, or a flower garden, yeah. I joined the environmental awareness group just to be involved with the environment and like what's going on, hopefully to make some change with how it's treated and all.
The EAG plans to make even more differences in the future, and if you'd like to sign up, speak with Miss McNair in room 413. With Destiny Quarles, Michael Landreth, and Robert Thomas, this is Samantha LaValle for Cutlass TV News.
This week is Banned Books Week. Here's more on the story by Daniel Higgins, Isaac Peterson, and Brian Reyes.
This week was Banned Books Week. Mrs. Elizabeth Ferguson gives us more detail about what it is and why we celebrate it.
Every year, libraries across the country and around the world really have different books that are challenged or asked to be removed from the collection for various reasons. Most of the time, librarians are able to follow procedures that will enable them to keep books in the library, but there are a lot of different communities around where that's not always the case. Special libraries like elementary libraries where that doesn't always happen. School libraries have a lot of different people who have stakes in their collection that they have to kind of keep happy for different reasons. So reasons that books are frequently challenged and banned at times usually include things like sexual content, sexuality of characters, controversial topics. Sometimes it can be that people perceive the book as having a religious or a political agenda. Different things like that that make some people uncomfortable are all reasons that pop up here and there for challenges. One of the top classics that's been banned a lot is The Great Gatsby. And The Great Gatsby is one of my favorite books of all time. Some people don't like it because it has adultery and it has murder in it, but it's a really good story. And there are some other ones from, that make the top 10 list of the last few years that are also really good. There's a David Levithan book on the list from last year, Two Boys Kissing. All of his books are really fabulous. Every Day was one that was on the Gateway list a couple of years ago. It's also really good. And one from a couple of years ago also is Beyond Magenta, which is a nonfiction book that profiles several different transgender teenagers that are living in these completely different situations from one another, and just kind of is a sort of qualitative examination of what it means to be trans in the United States today, which is really interesting and just a fabulous book also that I would definitely recommend. But there's always a lot of really good stuff on the list, and it's really surprising for a lot of people, I think, to see like Harry Potter has been challenged a lot, but it's such a wonderful story that the threat is always there of taking good literature out of the hands of readers, and that's why we have Banned Books Week.
Emily Fricke gives her favorite banned book and why.
My favorite banned book would be the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, just because I love the Harry Potter series, and I didn't honestly know that it was a banned book until yesterday.
With Daniel Wiggins and Isaac Peterson, this is Brian Reyes with Cutlass TV News.
Here's a list of this year's homecoming nominees.
This year's homecoming nominees are freshman Austin Eccles, Paris De Laval, Aiden Holt, and Celine Keeson. Sophomores Amber Herman, Nick Ferrari, Josie Riley, and Caden Hand. Juniors Allie Berry, Antoine Nunn, Savannah Eccles, and Michael Wright. Seniors Morgan Graves, Jaden Clark, Dominique Nichols, Logan Ferrari, Emily White, Bart Harris, Hannah Yosef, and Alex Weinzerl. Make sure to vote for your 2017 homecoming court and attend the dance on Saturday, October 7th. With Samantha LaValle and Kaylin Hill, I'm Savannah Truitt for Cutlass TV News.
Here's this week's sports report.
I'm Samantha LaValle and welcome to Sports Report. Varsity football lost to Kearney on Friday night, but the girls golf team finished 11th in the district tournament at Hoots Hollow. Anna McDonald qualified to go to sectionals by shooting an 88, which placed her 11th overall out of 54 golfers. The girls tennis team fell in the quarterfinal round against Carthage during the district tournament. The individual tournament will be at Friday at Joplin. After losing to Raytown South earlier in the season, both the varsity and JV volleyball teams found a way to defeat the Cardinals on Tuesday. Varsity soccer defeated Grandview 4-0 at their place. Goals were scored by Caden Hand, Andrew Costable, Ethan Stoffer, and Gene Powell. Varsity softball won in an exciting conference game against Grandview 10-7. Varsity football plays at Ruskin tonight, so don't forget to support your Pirates and tune in next time for Sports Report.
Thanks for watching Belton High School.
Remember to tune in next week.
And as always, Carpe Diem.